Right, Dr. Rajiv Mehta, please take it over.
All right. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Professor Rajiv Mehta. I'm the founder of the Global Indian Diaspora Alliance, for which, we've used the initials from GLOINDI from diaspora and A from alliance to sort of come with the acronym GLO-India. With us tonight, we have my co-founder, Mr. Dinesh Mittal. Then we have the president of GLO-India, Mr. Harinder Panisar, and then, of course, Dr. Tushar Patel, who's the president of the health committee of GLO-India. Our organization is a non-partisan, non-sectarian, and non-profit community organization registered in the United States as a 501c3. And what we attempt to do is promote the interest and aspiration of the global Indian diaspora and specific groups residing in the countries of adoption, promote the common cultural heritage, and thereby create a binding relationship, mobilize the financial, intellectual, and professional resources of the global Indian diaspora for their mutual development and advancement, encourage interaction between communities of Indians at a global level to South Asians, to deliberate, to decide on common issues and problems such as education, technology, and also further the interaction between the Indian diaspora and other communities globally, in whichever countries the Indian diaspora resides, to promote world peace, progress, and ecological harmony. We have a government relations committee for this purpose, a human rights commission, a chamber of commerce with 20 subsections, a cultural council, a foundation, a health council, a seniors council, a women's council, a youth council, a media council, a credentials committee, and so on and so forth. So, that's basically it in a nutshell. And if anybody wants more details about GLO-India, please visit our websites, gloindia.com, .net, .org, or globalindiaspora.com or .org. So that's us, in brief. But more importantly, let's talk about tonight. We're gathered here for a wonderful mind and body wellness presentation by a well-known spiritual authority, an expert in this field, Jaya Jaya Myra. And I will now request Dr. Tushar Patel to introduce Jaya Jaya formally. Tushar?
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajiv Mehta. Good evening, everyone. It is my honor and privilege to introduce you to esteemed speaker Jaya Jaya Myra, who is a former research scientist, turn-based author, TEDx and motivational speaker, and globally recognized expert in natural health and mind-body wellness.
Thank you guys so much for having me here.
Yes. Known as the wellness lifestyle expert, Myra is the go-to authority on stress management, mindfulness, food for mood, and purpose-driven living. After naturally healing herself from debilitating fibromyalgia, she developed the WELL method, a practical holistic framework that empowers people to discover personalized paths to wellness through 4 key cornerstones: wellness, energy, lifestyle, and love. Her work shows why one size fit all solutions don't work and how to uncover that will work for you. Her debut book, Vibrational Healing, is published in 10 languages and sold worldwide. Her latest, The Soul of Purpose, explores the deep connection between purpose, spirituality, and health. Deeply committed to giving back, Myra is also the founder and executive director of Gita for the Masses, a 501c3 non-profit promoting spiritual well-being, character development, and interfaith harmony. Whether she is on the stage, on air, or in print, Myra inspires people to live healthier, more meaningful lives aligned with their unique, energetic, and spiritual blueprints. So without further ado, please join me welcoming Miss Myra to share her wealth of knowledge in mind and body wellness. Welcome, Jaya Myra.
Welcome.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It is an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. I always love coming and speaking to your organization. So, Tushar, thank you again for the invite. I hope you guys don't mind, but I would like to get started with a mantra, briefly chanting the Ganapati and Saraswati Prarthana. So feel free to join if you would like. Om Ganana Antva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kaving Kavina Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Annashrinvanu Tipisi Dasadanam Mahaganapatiye Namaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vajay Vajinhivati Dinama Vitriavatu Ano divo brihataf parvatada sarasvati yajata gantu yagyam havan devi jujushana gritachi shagman no chamushati shrinotu Vagdev ye namaha. Let's go ahead and dive in. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about the connections between spirituality, purpose, and health. You probably know me by my nom de plume, Jaya Jaya Myra. Other people know me by my given name, Myra Godfrey. I live in New York City. I run a communications and PR agency along with a nonprofit organization that was already mentioned. And basically, I feel that my life's purpose is to help other people find and live their life's purpose and understand how to actually live your spiritual practice in day-to-day life in a way that is fulfilling, brings you happiness and joy and contentment, and hopefully leads you towards liberation and beyond as well. So a little bit more about me and my background. If you're like, hey, why should I listen to this Westerner? I have been initiated into two separate Eastern lineages, one very transcendental based, the other Shakti Sri Vidya tradition. I have healed myself naturally from debilitating fibromyalgia using solely a platform of mindfulness, meditation, and inner discernment-based practices. I have gone on to teach and talk with people globally, be featured in well over 1,000 media interviews at this point, many top-tier outlets, including Forbes, Los Angeles Times, ABC, NPR, Times of India, Toronto Sun, you name it. I've probably done a media interview with these organizations. People really are looking for a lot more natural health and wellness solutions. And I think that the secret to all this is already within our ancient traditions and is in Sanatana Dharma itself. We just have to know how to uncode this in a way that is going to work for you and show you how to live an integrated and fulfilled life. So this is what I really enjoy helping people to do, is understand, how do you take your spiritual practice? How do you take the things that you believe, that you've been taught, that you probably grew up with, and understand, how do you link that to your day-to-day life to become the best version of yourself in order to expect excellence in the things that you do and in order to give back to the society and world in a meaningful way. So let's go ahead and dive in. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So I created the WELL method, and I talk about it in my book, The Soul of Purpose. It's basically 4 pillars that uses the word WELL as an acronym for living a fulfilled, healthy, and meaningful life that integrates mind, body, and soul connection. So whenever we think of foundations, you tend to think of a square, like with the WELL method. It's got these 4 pillars to it. Kind of no secret here, a square is also the basis that is found in the root chakra. It's connected to Ganesh, to removing obstacles. Any of the things that we do in our day-to-day life that is building a solid foundation to grow from is going to be the way that we do remove obstacles in our life and move forward. So I can't emphasize the importance enough of setting a solid foundation. The WELL method is a really practical way to do it because it takes an overarching look at everything that's going on in life and it hits these basic pillars that are really important to remember. So the acronym here stands for these 4 things, which I'm going to dive into in a lot more detail. But the W is for work-life harmony. I very intentionally use the word harmony here and not balance because I don't believe that we can really cultivate balance in equal measure of things in our life. Actually, if the universe were to be in balance, that would be the end of the universe when Shiva is doing his dance of destruction. So things and energies are never meant to be in balance, but they are meant to be in harmony with each other. And when we have harmony, we create synergy with things. When you have synergy, 1 + 1 can equal 5. So you can do very simple things, condense time, and actually build meaningful practices that enable you to succeed and amplify your success quite a bit. So we start out with learning how to cultivate work-life harmony. The second pillar is expect excellence in yourself or enable it in other people. I really love this pillar because this is about going beyond just a basic growth mindset. How many of you guys here have heard the term anti-fragile or anti-fragility? If you work in finance, you've probably heard the term. If you don't work in finance, hedge funds, maybe not. But basically, this goes beyond growth mindset. It basically says if something comes in and shocks your system or you have a massive setback, you have the ability to take that, use it as a means of transformation and rebound and be better than what you were before. So this is what spiritual practices do. They not only cultivate a growth mindset in people, but they help people to become truly anti-fragile. So no matter what happens to you in your life, you're actually going to use that as fuel to be even more successful in the long run and to make a bigger impact in the world. The next two pillars are definitely connected, living your purpose and coming from a place of love and not fear. So when you live your purpose very fully and very aligned, you'll find that you have a ton of energy. Whenever we get fatigue as people, it's a very clear sign and symptom that you're not doing the things that are in alignment with your purpose, which is also in alignment with your unique constitution and energetic type. You can think about that as being aligned with Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, whatever system you want to use. But whenever we find ourselves to be deeply fatigued, tired, very clear indication you're not doing what you were put here to do. When you are, there's just this almost boundless energy that comes up, and you'll find that you have the energy to get through the things that you need to. Love and not fear is super important. This is the whole art of inner discernment, buddhi yoga, learning how to respond to situations that are happening instead of reacting to them. And the only way that we can do that is through cultivating self-awareness and understanding what causes us to get triggered in certain situations. Why do we think and believe the things that we do? And what can you do to be more in the present moment? If anyone here is on a jnana yoga path, this is all rooted in that inner discernment, and it teaches you how to get back to the heart, be present, and not approach things from a fear-based situation. So we'll dive into these a little bit further. I talked about this a little bit, but again, harmony is very much about synergy, not balance. So think about it. What are small, meaningful things that you can do that are going to create synergy in your life to where 1 and 1 really do add up to 5 instead of 2? How can you layer and stack activities and habits in your day that's going to make an impact and cause you to be more successful? And what is important to you? Is it that you have a job, that you have flexibility, that you can take some time like for your family or your kids, or maybe caring for a loved one or elderly relative? Is harmony to you meaning the ability to focus on your work as long as you want to? It means different things to different people. So there's a huge level of personal accountability here as to what does this actually mean for you. You have to be able to create a vision of your life and what you want and what you value. Once you do that, you can work towards achieving it. And I'm going to talk about some steps to do that. The next pillar in the WELL method is expect excellence in yourself. And we can also flip that around to enabling excellence in other people. I say you can always expect excellence in yourself. You cannot expect it out of other people, but you can help to enable it. So expecting excellence is really having the highest standards for yourself, believing that all things are possible and that you can accomplish the things that you want to do. Anyone who has this anti-fragile mindset automatically goes into everything with very, very high expectations of themselves, with their performance, with the environment that they keep, with their social life, literally everything. You need to hold yourself to very high standards if you want to accomplish things and make a meaningful impact. Expecting excellence also relates to creating daily, consistent routines for yourself that are joyful. I think we as people have a habit of creating routines of things that we have to do or that we think are beneficial for us. But very few people actually have a couple of daily routines that's just things that bring them joy. If you were to cultivate a daily habit of things that actually made you happy, that is just for you and that is not for anyone else, not for your spouse, not for your kids, not for anyone, you would start to train your mind to have more gratitude, to allow more abundance and prosperity in your life. I've never met a single person who doesn't want Lakshmi to come in and bless more with either inner prosperity or material abundance. This is a clear path towards getting there. Even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes a day that you're taking for yourself to create these joyful habits, this is what's going to enable you to be successful with those things that you don't find joyful. There's so many statistics out there, say with New Year's resolutions, right? Over 90% of people are going to fail at their resolutions by the end of January. This is because people are creating habits with things that they hate doing. Oh, I need to go to the gym. I need to lose weight. If you have daily habits in place doing things that you enjoy, you will be able to cultivate daily habits doing things you don't enjoy. 100% promise you this. Start trying to throw some things into your daily routine that are literally just for you that you enjoy doing. This is game changing. It sounds super simple and super practical, but that's one of these big esoteric secrets of life. The things that are going to make the most impact in your life are small and super simple. The most simple is actually the most profound. So prioritize these daily practices that actually optimize your mood and mindset, and you're going to see yourself excelling a lot more quickly. So the next pillar, living your purpose. This is where we get to have a lot of fun with spiritual science, believe it or not. Your purpose is given to you and is 100% aligned with your unique energy type and constitution. So in Ayurveda, we look at gunas and doshas, right? Well, if you break those doshas down, you break them down into the 5 elements. And I like using that elemental approach because what that does is it helps you to understand things from an emotional, a psychological perspective, as well as a physical body. Can we go back to the previous slide? I'm not sure if it flipped to another screen.
Tushar, I think you need to go back to previous slide.
I think it's like flipped to a different screen somehow for the
Yeah.
Hold on,
presentation.
just one minute. Okay, I'm gonna.
Tushar is working with 2 screens. So
Yeah,
I
no
will
problem.
switch.
Hold on, just 1 minute. I'm gonna. Yeah.
I'll keep talking here while you find the
Yes.
slide.
Yeah.
But basically, everything that you've been given completely aligns. So long before you ever even took birth, you had a purpose and something that you came here to fulfill, right? So your constitution, your Ayurvedic constitution, your elemental constitution was 100% given to you so that you can do and fulfill your purpose and do what you came here to do. So you were given the exact talents and gifts and skills and pitfalls and everything that were going to enable your success. This is why living a purpose-driven life is so important, and why we really need to dive into the spiritual science of understanding Ayurveda, understanding the elements, and like learning the psychological connections in these things. Because once you really hone into your gifts and you learn how to find your purpose and the things that you're good at, you will absolutely be successful, and prosperity and abundance will come to you. Go forward just one slide. Purpose, I believe, is synonymous with Dharma. Is everyone muted here? I hear something echoing. So I use the word purpose because I think here in the West, it's a very relatable word, but it's absolutely interchangeable with Dharma. You have something you were put here to do, both collectively and societally, and on an individual level as well. And on that individual level, your purpose is the same thing as your innate nature, like your swabhava, your swadharma. These things all relate. And it also is connected to your formative life experiences. So diving into your purpose really is the secret that's going to unlock everything for you. The next slide, we talk about coming from a place of love and not fear. And as I alluded to earlier, this is really this process of putti yoga or inner discernment. Any jnana path is like rooted in this. It's about understanding what created your karma, what created your belief systems, how did you get to where you are now, and learning how to make conscious decisions so that you can move forward to a place where you're able to clear your karma, live your purpose and dharma, and become fulfilled in life. And so on a practical day-to-day level, if I want to take those words and put different words around it that are more easy to understand, that's about being in the present moment and responding to people and situations as they come up as opposed to reacting. So I want to give you an example of this, of what that means. And this is one that I use in my book as well. Let's say when you were a kid, you were bitten by a dog, you had to go to the hospital and get stitches. To this day, you may still be afraid of dogs, right? That's very natural because it was an experience that left an imprint on your mind and psyche. Let's say your neighbor has this little cute, adorable puppy that wants to come up and play with you and lick you and just have a great time. You may still react to that puppy out of a place of fear. That is an exact example of where we are not present in life. And it's no one's fault per se. It's based on the experiences that we have had. But that is an example of where fear comes in and conditioning comes in, and we need to learn how to overwrite that programming to truly be in the present moment. Because when we're able to really be in the present moment, you can look at the present situation and go, hey, this puppy is not the one that bit me. It's not going to harm me. It just wants to play with me and love me. So I'm certain if you guys do some introspection, you can all find multiple things in your life where you react to situations based on past conditioning and you're not really fully present in the moment. The more that we can learn to be present and take that inner discernment into our day-to-day life, we can be more present in our work relationships, in our romantic relationships, in the service and the seva that we're doing for other people. And this is really what enables you to show up with compassion and empathy for other people, because your triggers at that point are not relevant. They're not there. And if they are there, you're learning how to hit pause and breathe long enough so that you can say, I have this trigger, but I'm going to choose to respond from a place of love and kindness anyway. So these are like the four basic pillars of the well method. If you can like master these four things, most everything else in your life is honestly going to sort itself out. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide here. So when I was talking about purpose, we talked a little bit about breaking things down to this elemental composition. And the reason why I use the elements as they're aligned with Sanatana Dharma and Ayurveda is that you have 3 doshas, but the doshas don't break things down on a psychological level. Like if you take Kapha dosha, for example, that encompasses earth and water, which are as diametrically opposite as you can get, because earth is very rigid and solid and water is very flowing and fluid. They lead to completely opposite and different personality types, and you need to treat those personalities vastly differently and apply different practices in order to be successful. So when you break it down to this extent, to the 5 elements as opposed to the 3 doshas, you get a lot of psychological and emotional insights into what's going to help you succeed. Also, the elements are connected to our sensory perceptions. So earth element is connected to the sense of smell, water element to taste, fire to sight, air to touch, and ether or space element is connected to sound. So when you learn how to relate with these different energies and you start to see these different connections, you can Like you can use smell-based techniques as an example to help work with and clear the earth element. Or if you have a lot of earth element in your constitution, you may naturally gravitate towards practices and healing modalities that say encompass aromatherapy or smell or incense or other things, because that can trigger a state of more lasting awareness than maybe another technique can. Let's go to the next slide here. When it comes to the positive and negative attributes, I want you guys to understand something very clearly. No element is good, no element is bad. No guna is good, no guna is bad. A lot of times we like to say, oh, sattva is great. We have to cultivate sattva. We want to get rid of tamas. Well, that's not true, because all of the dark and transformative goddesses have tamas guna predominant, like Kali, Chinnamasta, even Tara to an extent. You have to have everything like in proportion, not in balance, but you have to be able to use the strengths that everything brings to you and learn how to minimize the weaknesses associated with it. So every single element, every single guna, every single dosha all has strengths and weaknesses. And it's a matter of looking at this stuff neutrally and just seeing it as it is and not putting a judgment or a label on it. So for example, earth element has a lot of really great positive attributes. Like people with a lot of earth element, they can be strategic, see the big picture, be super detail oriented, be super grounded and emotionally stable. These are the people that are usually able to cultivate routines and consistency easily, and you like organization and cleanliness. People with a lot of earth element also tend to be pretty strong writers and communicators with the written word. Now, conversely, let's say you're not living the attributes of this element to its highest standards and you're kind of not doing anything that you should be doing with your life. You're going to have the exact opposite manifestation, right? You're probably going to be chaotic and disorganized, very rigid and inflexible with your beliefs. Like you're just locked in no matter what someone says. You will definitely be prone to laziness and indifference on certain things. You will not want to try new things. You will not have discipline or the ability to put effort into things. And your place can tend to be pretty full of clutter and just unnecessary things. So earth element, as any of the elements here, they can manifest in vastly different ways. So it's a matter of understanding the attributes, really being honest with yourself and understanding, hey, am I living this in a way which is positive for me, or am I living this in a way which is not positive? And I do have quizzes and assessments available to people to better understand what your elemental composition is. So let's go on to the next one, which is water element. So water is exactly the opposite of earth. Like water takes the shape of its container, and it's the same in an emotional way, right? So people who have a lot of water element, for example, they tend to be very influenced by the people that they spend time with. For people with water element, it's super crucial to have a very solid group of friends and a support system around you, because you're going to be so easily influenced. Earth element people, it's like exactly the opposite. You tend to just believe what you're going to believe, and other people can't influence you. So again, even though those both fall under the same Ayurvedic dosha, very different in how you should apply it in a day-to-day life. So water element brings such amazing attributes like nurturing and caring. They're very relationship oriented and concerned about the well-being of other people. These are people that have an extremely high level of emotional intelligence. They tend to be good listeners. They can flow with things and not be as rigid. And people with strong water element tend to be phenomenal healers as well. Now, if you're not living this in a great way, let's look at the flip side of that. Self-absorbed, lacks self-worth and confidence, very non-committal or avoidant tendencies or attachment styles, can be overly emotional and dramatic, very easily swayed or influenced by other people. You can lack healthy, clear boundaries and have a very negative attitude and outlook towards life. So we all have all the elements inside of us, by the way, but some of them you're just going to have more proportionately than others, like based on your astrology and other things here. So let's go on to fire element. We'll try to get through these a little quicker. Fire element is the seed for willpower and getting anything done. Your fire element, your third chakra, the Manipura, that is where all of your willpower, your focus, your clarity and clear-mindedness lives. This is where you have the ability to cultivate a positive attitude, be confident, goal-oriented, authoritative, and determined. This is all fire element for you. And by the way, there's lots of spiritual practices that we can utilize to cultivate these different types of energies. Now, again, if you're not manifesting this in the most healthy of ways, you may come across as aggressive and bossy. You may be very scattered. You could be very arrogant, egocentric, or even narcissistic in your personality type. You could be power hungry and greedy. Anger definitely goes along with this as well, or be domineering, or really slice people in a bad way with your words. Does this remind you guys of any specific energy, god or goddess type? Anyone want to chime in?
Well, I mean, how about Kali
Kali, definitely, and Shiva, definitely as
and
well.
Shiva?
So this is an example of how we can use spiritual practices to cultivate these positive energies, because if you are doing these devotional practices to these gods or goddesses, they're going to help to bring out the positive attributes and to minimize the negative attributes. So for example, I think I have more fire element in my constitution than anything. I can definitely get angry. I can definitely have a very sharp and bitter tongue at times. I'm very authoritative with things. So you know how I counterbalance this and make sure it stays like on a very positive keel as opposed to a negative one?
Where does President Trump falls into it?
I
So
don't know where
negative
President Trump falls into things, but I say he's got a combination definitely of a lot of water and fire, which is very detrimental because when you mix fire and water, either fire is going to boil water and make your emotions just kind of go haywire, or water is going to put out your fire and make you lazy and have a lot of inertia. So
Yeah.
I think like that is a very difficult thing to, it's a very difficult thing to manage because you can be very impulsive with that particular combination and it requires a lot of care. So for me, since I know I have a predominance of fire element in my system, I chant the entire Rudram every morning. You can't have a better prayer or mantra towards cultivating good, strong, fiery energy than chanting the Rudram. So when you start to know your elemental composition, you can align your spiritual practice with it in a way that's going to bring out the best attributes in you automatically. And it's going to make you just more calm and peaceful in general when you're aligned with your type. So let's go on to air element here. Air element is equally as great, and it's also got a lot of not great things. Let's start with the negative ones on this one. People who aren't manifesting this in a good way can be flaky, lack follow through, non-committal, lacks focus, out in the clouds and disconnected with reality. You know, you've all heard the statement being an airhead. Yeah, that's where this comes from. And even having low physical stamina fits into this. But if you're manifesting this in a positive way, if you have a lot of air element, you're going to be really tuned in with your intuition, open to possibility and seeing the big picture of things. You tend to have a very visionary mindset, like you want to do great things that are going to make a difference in the world. You have this otherworldly energy, which can definitely inspire people. And you have this very high desire for like intellectual stimulation. Like you like to talk about philosophy and spiritual practices and things because those otherworldly things really stimulate and bring out the best in you. And that stimulates creativity. Creativity is really the start of getting any new thing or initiative done. And I personally love ether element, space element, next slide here, because this is the one that's like really rooted in with sound and vibrational frequency. So when you're really tuned in with space ether element, again, subtle awareness and intuition, you can become absolutely neutral to both praise and criticism. Like you just really stop caring what people think or say about you because you're so rooted in your own awareness and in your consciousness that it doesn't matter. You tend to be an excellent communicator if you have a lot of ether element. So while earth relates to the written word, space and ether element relate to the spoken word. So if you gravitate towards mantra, music, vibration, healing, speaking, any things of these nature, you definitely have a lot of this ether element in your constitution. It's also people who relate to good aesthetic and geometric design. So if you like to work with yantras, sacred geometry, anything dealing with spatial organization has to do with space and ether element. Negative attributes, I think they're amongst the worst. Lacking respect for others, being dishonest, being highly sensitive to criticism, being secretive and hiding things. Definitely rule breakers fall into this category. Total and complete disregard for authority, and literally living in one's own world and being completely comfortable with that for better or worse. So I wanted to just go through this exercise to highlight that these all have great attributes and they all have really negative attributes. So we need to have a lot of personal accountability to understanding where you're at a given time so that you can always keep taking steps forward and becoming a better version of yourself. Because that's how we walk that path towards self-realization and eventually maybe even complete enlightenment and liberation. It is being the best version of yourself and aligning with everything that you are and that you were given. So next slide here. Okay, let's go into a couple of mindfulness techniques. So how do you know if you're not being present, right? We all have so many stimuli on a day-to-day basis. You may think you're fully present when you're really wrapped up in your head. I love this one. This is a 5 sense check-in. It can take you under 2 or 3 minutes to do. Literally take anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds just to kind of go through each sensory perception. Like take a little bit of time and notice, hey, what do I smell right now? Like if I'm trying to smell what's in my field, I'm wearing perfume. I can smell that. I can't smell a lot else because I have an air purifier, so I don't have like stagnant things, but I can definitely smell perfume. What do I see? Well, if I want to go up, let's just like go up the chakras. So smell to taste. Do I have a taste in my mouth at the moment? No, I don't have any like lingering taste or even awareness of anything. What do I see? I see all of your beautiful faces that have the video on. I see the presentation. I see the light on. I see the mirror in front of me. I look out my window and I see the Hudson River and I'm looking out over New Jersey. I see those kind of cool tones that are associated with the evening, like the blues and then like the pinks of the sun setting. What do I feel? I feel myself sitting in the chair. I feel my hands touching my hands at the moment. I feel my hair brushing against my neck and my ear. What do I hear? I hear my air purifier. I hear the traffic on the highway outside of my window, even though it's closed. I hear the slight humming of my refrigerator. You can take 2 or 3 minutes to run through this anytime you're feeling like, well, I don't know where my head is. Do this 5 sense check-in and just really focus on each one of these. This will bring you back to the present moment quicker than just about any technique I have ever tried, because it forces you to be in tune with your senses and what's going on right now, and you have to get out of your mind in order to do that. There's probably hundreds, maybe thousands of techniques that help bring you back to the present moment. There is no right or wrong. This is just one I find highly effective, so I wanted to share it with you. The next technique on here, it's actually a breathing based one, and this is just meant to kind of calm down whatever clutter is going on in the head. If you ever feel like your brain is on a hamster wheel, trying to get things back into balance, and I am going to use the word balance here because we're inhaling, holding the breath, exhaling, and holding the breath out for equal lengths of time. This helps to stop that hamster wheel of the mind and let you just hit reset. So again, this can only take maybe 2 to 3 minutes to do, super quick and easy. You start by inhaling for 4 seconds, holding the breath in for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, and holding the breath out. When you get more practice with this technique, you can lengthen that to 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds each, but that's like something you have to work up to. 4 seconds is something that should be super comfortable for everyone. If you have an established meditation practice, try at least like 6 seconds on each of these and it will be helpful for you. But again, you do this 10 times. You've done it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but it is definitely going to help reset whatever is going on in your mind. Those 2 techniques can really do a tremendous amount of good for you if you find yourself just cluttered or scattered, or you need to focus in the middle of your day, you're not there. Highly, highly recommend that you try these. So I just briefly want to dive into this next stuff. Why do we do practice? Why do we want to live our purpose? Why do we want to get aligned? I think it's about cultivating what I call the 5 C's: clarity, confidence, courage, charisma, and character. These are 5 things that are going to take you very far in life and really help you to succeed with whatever you want to do, whether that's on the spiritual path, whether it's in the material world, whether it's creating impact, doing service for others. This is going to help get you there. So there's a little fun spiritual science in here too that we can dive into. But I will try to go quickly. So, spiritual science, here we go. So there is this definite connection and opposite energy going on between confidence and charisma. So we have the ability to project energy onto other people, which is a very hot, fiery solar energy. We also have the ability to attract things and draw things to us like a magnet. So if you think about that projective quality, you would probably think gods like Rama or Hanuman, right? That have the ability to just put themselves out there and do just about absolutely anything. So the ability to project energy, that definitely comes at the beginning by learning how to be confident with yourself and your actions. Confidence is a psychological attribute that helps you cultivate projective and solar energy. Now, charisma is the exact opposite. How do you draw things to you? When you think of attractive energy, Krishna comes to mind first and foremost. And if you are more of a goddess worshiper, definitely Matangi, right? We want to draw that energy to us and the people and situations and circumstances that we need to succeed. This one is a little bit harder to cultivate right out of the gate. I think this takes a little bit of time and practice, but learning how to harmonize your projective energy with your attracting energy, that helps to keep everything flowing and not stagnant. So things will come to you more quickly and easily. So if you have the ability to be receptive, curious, and open and calm, these things can help to cultivate charisma here. So we've talked about some of this, but if you want some very, very simple practical steps on how to cultivate better mind-body well-being, again, super simple, super practical, but if you implement these every single day, within less than a month, you're going to notice pretty profound changes, but don't take my word for it. I recommend you keep a journal, write stuff down every day and actually document so that you can see the changes. One is to wake up before sunrise. We really are wired to the rhythm of the sun. And if you wake up before sunrise, you will have a much better and more productive day than if you wake up after sunrise. If you're able to greet the rising sun and watch it, or at least be awake during that time, you're going to be clearer for the rest of your day. You're going to be more focused. You're not going to feel behind. You're not going to feel like you're rushing to get things done. Sounds super simple, but seriously, try these things out on your own. I don't want you to take my word for anything. I want you guys to put this into practice and try it out for yourself. We've talked about this importance of creating a daily habit and it being something joyful. So some of the actual science behind that, not spiritual science, but whatever you do daily and consistently forms new neural connections in the brain. This is how you overwrite negative programming and establish more positive neural connections. You want to break old connections and reestablish new ones. Create a simple daily habit. Doesn't have to be more than 5 or 10 minutes. Doing something 5 or 10 minutes a day consistently will get you farther than doing the same thing once a week for 2 hours, because it's about the daily consistency and repetition. This is how we rewrite the programming in the subconscious mind and create the life that we want. This third one is absolutely game changing. So some more fun spiritual science for you guys. Normal humans have a breath per minute rate of about 15 inhalations and exhalations in the course of a minute. And this is supposed to be like your normal healthy person. Well, most people in our stress-induced society, it's going to be a lot more than 15. But if you can get your normal breath per minute rate down significantly, you will stop getting sick. You will stop suffering from a lot of health problems. It's like really miraculous just what slowing your natural cadence of breath will do. And the science behind that is because whenever you're able to slow your breathing, it opens up different hormones in the body, and it also helps to regulate the sympathetic and the parasympathetic aspects of the nervous system, which is also what meditation does, by the way. But that also starts with breath work and breathing. So if you can do breathing practices that help you to lengthen and deepen the breath, like the one we talked about earlier with the inhaling, holding the breath, exhaling, holding the breath out, that is a great one for learning to slow the breathing. I think when I started this, mine was probably above average. It was probably 16 or 18 or something. I was also in a bad place of health. I was coming down with debilitating fibromyalgia. Today, my normal breath per minute rate when I'm not meditating is about 6. I don't get sick anymore. If I get sick, it's because I'm extremely emotionally disturbed or stressed by something. I tend to heal exceptionally quickly. And when I'm meditating, this goes down to closer to 2 to 3 a minute, just naturally. I can slow it to like 1 a minute or less if I think about it intentionally, but without the intentional focus is like what you want to get to. But again, you just got to practice and do things every single day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. If you did a breathing exercise for 5 minutes every day, again, within 30, 40 days, you would start to see your breath per minute rate drop dramatically. What is that going to look like? You get sick less, you're not as stressed, you're more present, you're less reactive, you're calmer, you're able to focus more. Again, super simple, but this can have profound impacts on your day-to-day life. Maybe it's the difference between snapping at your spouse and getting into a huge argument, or cultivating a moment where you're able to come together and cultivate more closeness and connection. These small things can make or break everything that's happening in your life. So I think that is about it. I'm very easy to find online. Jaya Jaya Myra everywhere. My website, my social media, it's all rock solid, consistent. I would love to answer any questions you have. If you guys take nothing else away from this talk, let it be that spirituality is meant to make your day-to-day life better, and it's meant to be practical and simple because that's the way that you live it and start to cultivate consciousness and character and integrity. So that path towards liberation does not have to be rooted in super complex practices. It's rooted in the heart and devotion and showing up consistently for yourself.
So we can open up for the questions. If anyone has any question, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Purnima. Feel free to ask me anything. Anything is fair game. You can ask me about my practices, my sadhana, my life experience. If you need specific recommendations, I'm an open book.
Like the 5 elements you mentioned, Jaja, exist in each one of us, right?
Yes.
In varying proportions.
Yes.
Now, as we age, like starting from childhood and like to adulthood, and then becoming elders, does the proportion of these elements change relatively, as we go through the different phases, or is it something that is,
It does not. The proportion of your elements does not change, just like your astrology does not change, the star you're born under does not change. But the way in which you live and express and manifest your purpose will change at different phases in your life, right? Like we have Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, right? We are pursuing different things at different points in your life. So you're going to use those elemental gifts and attributes in different ways and different stages in your life. And you may very well find that your purpose changes as well. It's still going to encompass your gifts, but you may find that what your purpose when you're 25 is vastly different than when you're 45 or even 65. It is completely normal for things to change, but you will always find an overlap in the skills. Like communication will always be part of something I do, whether I'm teaching spirituality, helping people with that, running my communications and PR company, helping other entrepreneurs succeed. 95% of my life hinges around writing or spoken communication, right? That's just always going to be the way that it is, but it's going to find different manifestations at different points, whether it's my book, giving a talk, teaching other people, helping craft strategic business plans for other entrepreneurs onto how they can succeed more quickly. It's the same skill, but just manifesting itself in a different way, putting on a different set of clothes. So that's part of the fun in it, is that once you know what your composition is and what you're aligned with, you can start to really play with these different energies and be creative and start to see the different ways you can express them and start to cultivate meaning in ways that maybe you didn't think about before.
Do you have
Right.
a book
True.
on the well method?
I do. Both of my books are very easily available, but The Soul of Purpose definitely talks about the well method. I outlined it very thoroughly in here. And each chapter is essentially a step-by-step approach that is meant to stack on each other. A little bit of secret there. It's kind of like the Bhagavad Gita in that way. Every chapter is meant to stack on each other to build synergy and create more impact. So if you implement the things in the book in the order of the chapters, they're going to have more of a profound impact than if you don't.
And one other question I have, how one can help with your nonprofit Gita for the masses?
Absolutely. I am very happy to have conversations with anyone about that. I have a deck I can share with you. We are currently fundraising to start a consciousness center here in the city. And the goal is what I call conscious character development. We're teaching people how to expect excellence in themselves and align with their purpose so we can create a bigger impact and just make more of a change in the world. So we're looking to raise $10 million. At this point, we have 1 million committed. We just started the fundraising process, definitely open to conversations with anyone that would like to contribute or help out in some way or even just lend advice.
Nice.
Great.
So we can put that on our website, Tushar.
Yes,
And also
yes.
on the Facebook page.
Yes. Yes, absolutely, we can do that. Yes.
Absolutely. I really consider it my life's work to spread these teachings and the importance of interreligious dialogue, interfaith harmony, and aligning spirituality to your constitution and type. It promotes unity while also promoting individuality, and this is really what shreds and obliterates the ego. We need to learn how to both be individuals and be a part of a collective and honor the individuality in other people as well, without thinking in terms of hierarchies or good or bad or right and wrong or, oh, this person's better or this person's worse. Like, no, it's about what stage of your personal development are you at? And have you learned how to manifest your skills and talents in the best way possible? That takes a tremendous amount of accountability and personal responsibility.
Just got a reminder of the fact that as a child, I was taught, if you're stressed out or you can't sleep or you're fearful of something, you sort of recite the Gayatri japa 7
Yes.
times.
Yes.
And
Gayatri is
all your
wonderful.
fears will dissipate,
Hanuman Chalisa.
stress will
Yes.
go away, and
Yes.
it'll help you get to sleep.
Yes.
Yes, Gayatri is wonderful. I love Gayatri. There's some Ganesh mantras that I love chanting. I love chanting as a practice in general. I do a lot of both tantric and Vedic mantras, and that tends to calm me down. But yeah, fire element, earth element, ether element. That's like kind of how my stuff is stacked. So it makes a lot of sense.
Good.
By the way, just one more little fun bit of information. If you've ever tried to meditate and say, oh my God, I can't meditate, what am I doing wrong? It's only because you learned a technique that is not in alignment with your energetic type. If you learn a meditation technique aligned to your elemental constitution, you will be able to meditate quickly and effectively and go deeper than you ever thought possible.
Can you also tell our audience about your recent accomplishment award?
Oh, absolutely. So I run a PR and communication agency. I use this as a way of giving back to other entrepreneurs who really want to get their voices out. So I work with a lot of startups and tech and finance companies and AI, cybersecurity, health and wellness people. We work very hard and very diligently, and we were just recognized as PR Agency of the Year. Over 3,700 applicants, we came in #1, and that was
Excellent.
evaluated by a judging panel of over 250 people.
Nice.
So
Congratulations.
we beat out the big global agencies, including Edelman, Weber Shandwick, all of these places, even though we're only a 5-year-old agency and a team of less than 10 people.
Excellent.
Yeah, I believe in just going above and beyond and expecting excellence in me and helping to enable it in my team and just giving it back as much as we can. And I do see some of my team members on this call, so thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate you being here.
Any closing remarks, Rajiv, Dinesh?
No, I think it was a wonderful presentation. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I've learned a lot, and hopefully I can put some of it into my practice, you know.
That's the thing. This is really meant to be simple and approachable by just about anyone. The more that we complicate things, that just means you don't understand them. The more you can make something simple and approachable, it means you actually have a really deep grasp on it. If you can make things practical, then you've really hit the nail on the head. So I recommend people start with simple practices and cultivate and grow into things that are more complex and advanced. You can never go wrong with that. I'm not going to tell people here to go and chant the entire Rudram every day like I do. That took over a year of dedicated practice to learn how to do that. But if you have the sincerity and the dedication, you can absolutely learn how to do these things.
And one thing I've learned is never bring your work home, you know, sort of whatever you have to do at home, you do it. I mean, whatever you have to do at work, you do that, but don't sort of mix the two.
I agree. Now, I do work from home, so that gets a little hard, but I have very clear
Right.
delineated boundaries about my workday is over, leave me alone. I'm not going to talk about work. I'm not going to think about work. If it's the weekend, do not contact me unless it is an emergency. And I'm also very good about cultivating those daily habits of things I enjoy. A fun fact about me, I'm a competitive ballroom dancer. So I'm taking dance lessons and practicing with world champions numerous times a week. That's like my de-stress, let's go have fun, but still cultivate something that's super enjoyable for me. So yeah, cultivate clear boundaries and stick to them. Super.
Nice.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
Tushar.
Yes, thank you so much, Jaya, for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you
Very,
so
very
much.
informative, and we all loved it. We'll stay in touch. We'll put your information on our website as well as share the video through our social network as well. We wish you all the best in your new endeavor for your nonprofit.
Thank you.
And we'll get you back. HS, anything from you?
Thank you so much, Jaya. It was a very interesting webinar. Thank you so much for hosting, Dr. Tushar and Rajiv.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
Thank
I
you.
truly appreciate it.
Dinesh, would you like to add something? Oh, I
Dinesh is
guess.
muted, but he already posted very informative and motivating presentation. Thank you,
Okay.
Myra ji.
All right.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. So we'll call it a night then, and thank you once again, Jaya Jaya.
Thank you. And if you guys have any further questions, feel free to reach out, send me an email. I'm very accessible and easy to find.
Thank you so much.
We most certainly will.
All right, take
Thank
care,
you.
guys.
Bye bye.